Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees with our friend Jen today, and Jen has this place where she teaches people how to do their own fruit forest, and she assists them by coming in and showing them, evaluating the land and everything else, and I'll put the website link below the video, but we're going to look at her own personal food forest today that she's created. You've been here now 3 years, right?
3 years.
And when you moved here, there was nothing here.
There were 2 fruit trees. So
2 fruit trees, and it's just wonderful. So we're going to take a look at it today. And behind us, we see some Monte del Rosa growing up this old tree. What kind of tree is this, and have you gotten fruit off the Monte del Rosa?
this is an oak, and Monstera deliciosa is the only fruit plant that will grow in full shade. So this is the first time we'll be getting fruit, but it's not the first time I'm tasting the fruit. They call it the fruit salad fruit because it's such an amazing pop of flavor. Just super, super tropical. Tastes like pineapple mixed with banana, and you only need a little bit to flavor a fruit salad. So.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to be taking a look around here today, everybody. So here we are. We're in Jupiter. Tell us your name and about your food forest project.
Yeah, I'm Jen Relitz. I'm the owner of Food Forest DIY. I've been building my own food forest here for the past 3 years, and in the last couple of months I've stepped out to help start food forests for people who want help with it. I've been doing a food forest along the perimeter of my property because I've got little kids and they use the big open spaces for playing soccer and riding their four-wheelers and go-karts. I think that food forest is so important because back in 1945, 50% of Americans were growing food in their backyard gardens, and collectively they produced 50% of all the produce in the United States. Today we produce less than 1% of our own produce, which means we're totally dependent on big corporations, the government, and supply chains. It hasn't always been this way. It doesn't have to be this way. We can fix it. I'm super passionate about food forest and happy to have you over.
Great, thank you. So you have a lot. I love this setup here. I love this, everybody. Just take note. I've been to some places where the whole yard was like that.
Yeah.
But this is great because she has kids and they get to play around, but it's just really nice and neat. And then you have your food forest stuff here, which she's going to show us today. Great, great idea. I like it. I like it. So now you have a lot of edible herbs and greens, and you also have fruit trees.
Absolutely.
And are they all dispersed within each other?
Yep. The fruit trees are kind of spaced out. I try to give them a little bit of room to grow. I'm all about staple crops. If we actually want to feed people, then you're talking about tropical potatoes, bananas, beans, and greens that are high in protein. And so I don't just do fruit trees. I also do the potatoes, bananas, beans, greens that are high in protein. And I'd love to show you what we've got going on.
Yeah, show us around.
This is really fun. This is peanut butter fruit. Peanut butter fruit is a great one to start with because it fruits pretty quick when you get it from a nursery. I got this from Mike at Trees and More. It's gonna fruit within a year to 2 years. For kids, it's super fun. It's got a big pit on the inside, but it tastes just like peanut butter. It's really creamy, great flavor, and again, a lot of fun for kids. Back this direction and this direction, you'll see I've got pigeon pea almost everywhere. We'll show you some pigeon pea that are flowering. Jackfruit, longan, papaya, chaya. Right here I've got a small lychee. Of course, lychee is a little bit slower growing. I'm a big fan of longan, which is kind of like the cousin of lychee, but longan bears every year. There are no issues with mites, so I kind of think longan's the way to go. Back here is...
So wait, so why do you have a lychee if you think longan's the way to go?
I planted lychee before I realized longan was the way to go.
But it's still kind of short. I mean, you can still replace it if you want.
It's been in the ground for 3 years from Excalibur, so anyway. Behind me, too, is katuk. Katuk, in Asia, they call it sweet leaf. It's a perennial vegetable, edible raw or cooked, really high in protein. Throughout back here, you can see kind of that elephant ear plant. That's taro or malanga. The tubers are really starchy, so it's actually more like a dumpling than a potato. The leaves are edible. Compared to collard greens, it tastes way better. It's got 3 times the micronutrients, so I think malanga is a great one for
you. Eat them raw?
Can you eat them raw? I'm not sure. I would cook it.
So
I would cook it.
Be careful because a lot of these greens you do need to cook.
Correct.
But katuk you can definitely eat raw and it's delicious.
Correct. So let's go see some pigeon pea and my yucca patch in the back of the food
before we go that way,
sure.
I know you have a little corner over here.
Yeah. You want to see?
There's your pigeon pea tree.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, while we're here, let's look here. So tell us about this jackfruit. How old is it and what variety is it?
This jackfruit, I actually don't know the variety. We got it from my husband's coworker from Vietnam. They lived in a little 0 lot line neighborhood, didn't have room for a jackfruit, gave it to us. The taste of the fruit is phenomenal. I say it's like tutti frutti. It's like a combination of, you know, banana, mango, pineapple.
Is it softer or harder?
It's softer. It's not crunchy. Also, you can see all these dead vines on the jackfruit. All through the summer, we were growing yard-long beans up the jackfruit. I mean, you just saw beans hanging off this thing. But we're keeping our jackfruit to about 10 to 12 feet. Dr. Richard Campbell down south always says that if you want to get the most production, you're going to keep it low. Got another jackfruit seedling here. I was actually at Echo last week. The nursery manager at Echo was saying that seedlings can fruit just as fast as grafted, which was really surprising to me. So I'm going to ask him for that, for those studies, that research.
Now the thing is though with, I don't know if you want me to interject and talk.
Sure, go ahead.
But the thing with the seedlings though is even though they might produce fast, you don't know what you're going to get.
Totally, the
So
fruit
you
quality.
don't know if it's going to be great or terrible. So if
Totally.
you have room like this, that's wonderful. But if somebody only has a space for one jackfruit, I wouldn't get
Oh, get a
seedling.
grafted one,
Yes.
totally, for fruit quality, yeah. So another longan back here. This longan is for my friend Jerry Berkowitz. It's a kohala. Papaya, sugar cane, some yucca. Behind the yucca, some roselle that's kind of at the end of its life here. A little abiu back there. And then Ian knocked over this ifica, the edible hibiscus. No big deal. I'm going to cut it up into pieces and start some more plants.
Where's the abiu?
The abiu is back here hidden behind the ifica. Right here. So I am a food forester who doesn't mind the native plants because a lot of these natives, you know, what we would call weeds, are edible, medicinal, nitrogen fixing, beneficial for pollinators. So I'm a big fan of kind of getting to know the native plants and only taking them out when I need the space.
Very nice. And that's the corner of your lot here.
Yeah.
And so what's that?
Check out all this pigeon pea.
Oh, wow.
Pigeon pea is so important in the food forest because it's nitrogen fixing, right? So it's making the soil better. You can use the beans green like edamame or brown like lentils. And then also these grow really fast. So when you need to create a microclimate, for example, you plant a banana, something that's not happy in the cold, not happy with wind, you can use the pigeon pea on the border of your food forest to create a windbreak, cold protection, and a happy microclimate.
Beautiful. And it's all in the corner here. It's set up so nice and neat.
Yeah.
Now, you have, what is this, a cut down palm tree?
Oh, we cut down the one right here. So this guy died. We're taking out all these palm trees and making an avocado grove.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I like to hear that.
Totally,
All
totally.
right.
Yeah, and back here, I don't know if you're interested, but tamarind, guinea peanut, neem.
Okay, let's do it again. All right,
Sure.
tamarind.
Guinea peanut, Pachira glabra, and neem, just because it's so medicinal.
Sure. So, and you're taking out these palm trees?
Yep, this is going to be an avocado grove.
Nice.
Yeah,
And what's that over here?
that's a longan.
Another ball. So
And that one
three
is
longans.
fruited.
So
Mhm.
3 longans.
I like longan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your idea though with the peanut butter fruit? Was that just for a fun thing?
Just for fun.
Okay.
You turn into a collector. I've got, a lot of fruit trees, but I don't have peanut butter fruit, so let's grab that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to where we started here.
Sure.
And
Got all kinds of things in here. Achira, flowering aloe, cranberry hibiscus. Back in there is some Arabica coffee with some little beans on it. A tropical oregano, more malanga.
and what's that? A native?
That's a eucalyptus.
eucalyptus.
Yeah,
That was here when you got the property?
that was here when we got here.
That's tall. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Now, do all these greens like shade or does it vary?
It varies. It varies, but they're all in kind of a dappled light, part shade.
Because when that longan tree grows or that lychee tree grows, it's all going to be shaded. You know that?
Right? I
Okay.
might keep it small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's beautiful area here that's bordered by logs here.
Yeah.
Did you cut down those trees and make those own logs
We
yourself?
did. We did.
And then there's
This is a
some
grumachama. I've
trees
got
that
a bunch
were
of
already
those.
Here. Oh, grumachama?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Some dragon fruit.
Now, how do you water these? Do you?
We don't much. I do have some sprinklers back here, so if we're in a serious drought situation, I can water from time to time. But in general, we just mulch it and leave it to nature.
How often do you mulch it?
We mulch it yearly. So
What do you use for mulch?
we get mulch from local landscapers. I'm a big fan of obviously clean, no dyes kind of mulch. So we just call around. Let's go feed the pigs so they stop crying.
Okay. Yeah, they have animals here as well. They have chickens and they have...
These are heritage breed Cooney Coon pigs, which if you've got young children and you're looking for pigs, a lot of pigs can be aggressive. These are the friendliest, most docile, really even temperament.
Oh, so cute.
You guys are cute, aren't you? Come on, go eat.
What are you feeding them?
Just hog feed. In general, they actually like a lot of plants. So I'm growing a lot of bananas, cranberry, hibiscus, vetiver grass, things that I can use to feed them as forage or like fodder crops. So I got a list from Echo, from their Asia team, of all the plants that they feed the hogs in Asia. So.
And you said one of the things you do with the pigs, you use their compost, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We use the manure on the bananas because bananas are such heavy feeders, right? Like a lot of water, like a lot of organic matter. So our bananas get fed by the hogs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
the tour continues. So
Sure.
here's another view of it, of what we just were. As you see this. Now, do you have plans eventually? I know as your kids grow older and you don't need to have kids playing football here. Do you have plans to plant more trees or anything, or you're not looking that far ahead right now? You're just focusing on the food forest.
Yeah, right now we're just focusing on the food forest. We kind of keep a permanent mulch dump spot over here so we can constantly be bringing in loads of mulch. But in general, our next expansion is going to be out along the road. But right here is my biggest chaya on the property. I think that chaya is such an important crop. The folks at Echo actually think that chaya could help solve world hunger. One serving of the leaves of chaya, always cooked, it's got as much protein as an egg, twice the iron of spinach, loaded with vitamin A and vitamin C. It's a literal protein replacement in a meal. So I think chaya is really important. And this maple leaf broadleaf variety is the best in terms of vegetative mass. And actually, shout out to my friend Josh Jameson at Cody Cove. If you want the biggest leaf of chaya you can get, Cody Cove Farm has it. So
now, so when you harvest it, do you harvest like the whole tree and use it, or do you just take like one branch of it?
Yeah, maybe like a third. Like you don't take too much. But I've got probably a dozen chaya plants.
And do you use it just like spinach?
Just like spinach. Like, so I was making a spinach artichoke dip, right? And I've got some friends who are vegan. They tasted it. They were like, is there meat in this? It's such a hearty plant that it actually tastes like meat. It's just a green.
Nice.
Yeah.
And those are easy to propagate from cuttings as
So
well.
easy to propagate from cuttings. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. So what's this here? Another pigeon pea?
Another pigeon pea. Got
Nice.
pigeon peas everywhere. And actually over here, I've got black Suriname cherry. You know, the Zill's black Suriname?
Absolutely. Those are excellent. And,
Yeah. And over here, we've actually got some blooms coming on. So we'll have some fruit soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a tree that I'm just getting blooms as well. That's great.
Nice. So we're headed back to the southern patch. The general rule is you want to put your tall trees on the north side and you get your best sun on the south side. So I put all my sun-loving crops on the south side. So tons of yucca, prickly pear, papaya, mango, just certain things that need more full sun. I'll show you the fruit trees first. This is a Mame Sapote. I don't remember the variety. I got it from Excalibur. This is a Ross Sapote from Incredible Edible Landscapes. All through here is yucca. I've got 4 varieties of yucca going. A lot of them are from Cody Cove Farm. I've got Shan's
Where's Cody
Yellow.
Cove Farm?
Up in Lake Wales. It's run by Josh Jameson.
How far is that from here?
About 2 hours.
Okay.
He worked at Heart Village for like 10 years and just does amazing research in plant genetics. So I've got Shan's Yellow, Togo Cassava, CMC 40, and a mystery variety from one of my friends. Back here is a Maha Chinook that is obviously tipped a lot. I believe in keeping your mango trees small like a lollipop, lots of lateral branches. So I tip as often as I can, and we'll see if it produces this year. This is the 3rd year in the ground. So
when did you last tip it?
I tipped it probably 2 months ago, a little late, but we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All of these yucca, you can see I had to cut during Hurricane Ian. So I was out here at like 10 o'clock at night with a headlamp and clippers, like, you know, so they didn't all get knocked over in the wind. Because usually these guys would all be quite a bit taller, but they were...
You just pull them up and that's where the root is.
Exactly, it's a root crop. Yep. Yep. This papaya is a really heavy producer. It's an orange Hawaiian type. And you can see on the side there, kind of two more are coming to make fruit. We've been using them green to make pickled papaya. And then, of course, ripen smoothies. And if it gets a little past ripeness, we'll give them to the chickens and pigs.
Now, are all these southern crops, can these things be grown? And how far north can you grow like yucca and like katuk?
Sure.
And
Yucca. Yeah, we know you can grow yucca up into lower Alabama because David the Good is doing it. Behind me, too, though, we've got the dwarf Thai mulberry. I love mulberry. I've got mulberry everywhere. It's so easy to propagate. And then back here, one of the most important perennial vegetables that most Americans don't know how to use is nopales, prickly pear cactus. It's literally a bell pepper replacement in cooking. Think about how expensive bell peppers are at the store right now. You could grow, this is drought tolerant, pest tolerant. I mean, it would live if you did nothing to it. You take the new pads, chop them up, throw them in chili, omelets.
So you use the prickly pears as bell peppers.
The pads. Mm-hmm.
The pads, these pads.
Yeah, the newest pads, the most tender pads, yeah.
So really, what about the spikes that are coming out of them?
You kind of just pop them out like potato eyes. Easy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And is that typically grow? I know the prickly pear grows well in California, but how does it grow good in South Florida?
Grows amazing here. Amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you actually take one of these
Yep.
leaves and you
just take a pad, snap it off, and this is actually how you could propagate it as well. If you're trying to propagate it, you would let this tip dry for about a week and then stick it in sand. But you just kind of trim around the outside, pop these out like potato eyes, chop it up. You actually can eat this raw, Paul. If you wanted to try a little one raw, there's no thorns on it. You can eat it raw, you can eat it cooked. And again, cooked, it tastes kind of like a green bell pepper with like a hint of lemon. It's really nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you grow pears on here also.
There is a little fruit that comes off of it. For me, the fruit hasn't been anything to write home about. I think if you want a better fruit, get a Peruvian apple cactus or something like that.
Okay. Very well. And then, so that's that. And then right there we have the more pigeon peas.
Yeah, more pigeon peas. In the back is an ackee. Of course, ackee is a Jamaican fruit, kind of a meat replacement in cooking if you were cooking fish or something. And I got it for free from a friend. So, you know, can't be free.
Very nice.
More prickly pear cactus back here. This is actually a winged yam, Dioscorea alata. And the first year, the tuber makes about 10 pounds of yams. Second year, it makes 40 pounds. They found one in Southwest Florida that was growing wild in the woods. It was 158 pounds. That's a lot of food.
Wow.
Yeah.
How often when you take them do they reproduce every year?
Yeah. When the vine dies back in the winter, there are all these little bulbils. You just replant bulbils in the spring and you've got more.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how old is this whole forest you have going on here?
Only 3 years old.
Wow. So
Yeah.
before there was just nothing here.
It was just landscape plants, you know.
And how do you deal with the weeds?
Honestly, again, you've got folks who have super manicured food forests. I help build those in a lot of parts of the county. And then you've got folks who are super wild, more like David the Good, you know, taking a machete to the wild grasses. I'm somewhere in between. My food forest is about 8,000 square feet, so it's a little bit too much to be perfectly manicured. And again, a lot of these weeds are edible, medicinal, nitrogen fixing, beneficial for pollinators. So if I don't need the space, I leave it alone.
And again, do you try? I know you teach people how to do this, but do you literally, as your service, travel to their house and show them what to do?
I do consultations. So I walk the property with them. I kind of see like where's the sun, where's the shade, where are the wet spots. We come up with a plan. We talk about what they want. Do they have little kids who want cherries or star fruit, or what makes them excited about a food forest? We want people in South Florida to have more joy and success and less frustration in gardening. A lot of times we're struggling with like what I call like the Yankee annual vegetables rather than just growing what grows here. And so it's been a lot of fun to work with friends and neighbors and help them build food forests.
And all this, your contact information, everything's on your website, right?
Yeah, foodforestdiy.com.
Then what does DIY stand for?
Oh, do it yourself.
Do it
I love
yourself.
people who are DIYers. You know, if you want to put in a food forest and you go to most people, the average cost of a food forest in the U.S. is $17,000. That means that a food forest is a luxury item for the wealthy. I believe that a food forest needs to be in every yard, which means that we've got to make the price point so that your average middle-class American can afford it. And I'm actually really looking into options where how do we start planting food forests in the places where hungry people live. So working with some nonprofit and government leaders on that. But if you're willing to do some of the work yourself, right, some of the labor, plant installation, sod removal, you could do a food forest for the price of plants, which, you know.
Very good.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
That's like, there's a great organization called ECHO, which teaches that around the world.
Yes, I love Echo.
All right, everybody, it's a little windy here at the moment, so hold on. Yeah, okay.
Barbados cherry.
Barbados cherry. How big is the whole property here?
2.2 acres. Here's a guanabana, soursop, and all of these native plants are growing up around it. I leave them there for cold protection. Soursop does not like the cold. When it was small, I was out here at night every time it was going to dip under 50 degrees, putting a sheet over it. All of these weeds grew up around it. I was getting ready to hack them back, and then I was like, wait a second, this is going to act like a blanket when it gets cold, so leave them alone. Gramachama here, and then on the ground here, it's dying back, but this is all African potato mint. It's making little potatoes in the ground. Probably got a while here before we get to our next spot.
Okay, you got a really cool tree house there. That's
Yep.
really cool.
Yeah. My husband built that for the kids, and we've been reading the Chronicles of Narnia. So my kids decided that's not any pirate ship. That's the Dawn Treader.
Wow, that's cool.
We've got more katuk as we go here, some little pomelo and other things.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
This is a loquat that I found growing wild on my my friend's property, and so I'm actually going to ask Jerry to come in the spring and help me graft some good varieties onto it. This is a dwarf Thai mulberry. I take cuttings from it about twice a year. I've probably made 100 plants from this one mulberry.
Wow.
Yeah. A little dwarf papaya there. Here's a chaya, a green mulberry, and a papaya that split. It's making two
Oh yeah, there's
bunches of papaya there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hold on.
You can get around this
I want to
way.
see if I can find you a fruit back here. Here we go.
Is this one or no?
Yeah, but if they're green, they kind of taste like cucumber. You want to find one that's like fully
So
ripe.
that one's ready.
Sorta. I think it could be a little more ripe.
Oh, that's
But-
great. That's
Yeah?
nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The mulberries have different seasons, or are they all the same season?
No, the mulberries really go dormant in the winter. So people always freak out around this time. They're like, my mulberries' leaves are turning yellow and they're falling off. I'm like, no problem, it's deciduous. Like they lose their leaves in the winter, They come back in the spring, and spring is the best time to take cuttings.
Wow, this amazing garden. Check that out. Now, what was your decision to fence it here? Wild animals?
Well, if by wild animals you mean little boys on go-karts, yes.
Got it.
So little boys on go-karts, chickens. This is my nursery. This is where I keep my plants for commercial production. So I don't want little boys on four-wheelers riding into my plants.
Sure.
I just seeded these beds.
And what do you got on the ground here? Weed mat?
Yep, weed control fabric just for the nursery section, because otherwise the roots start growing through, and
How often
then you
do you
move
put
them.
that down? Or...
Every couple of years. So back here is kind of my healthiest looking grumachama. I think it's just because we're near the canal. It's like super happy. Back here's a little collard tree. On the fence is passion fruit. In between these two trees is moringa. And then in the back is a little miracle fruit, because miracle fruit is so much fun.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
So you're propagating, so your moringa,
Yep.
you're propagating your...
Moringa, mulberry, peanut butter fruit, more mulberry, and chaya, broadleaf chaya. Yeah. Back here, we've got probably 7 or 8 varieties of avocado, mango, jackfruit, Barbados cherry.
Where'd you get these?
I get these from all kinds of places.
And so what's your goal with them?
Well, so again, these are for all the food forests that we're building, right? So I'm running this as a nursery. So these are all from wholesalers like Zills, Pine Island, those guys.
So let's see the avocados you got. Why don't you walk us through that?
Sure.
This is my joy.
Yeah. Bacon, Brogdon, Donny. This is a Russell. These are all Simmons. I got a lot of people who want an early variety, so Simmons is what we're planting. I've got a Wirtz and I've got a Buck, but I'm not selling that. That's for me. We're hoping that's going to make fruit between February and April.
I haven't heard of a Buck.
Yeah, a Buck is really rare. It's coming out of the avocado growers on the West Coast. It's been pretty hard to find, so I'm
The West Coast of Florida or California?
West Coast of Florida.
Now, have you heard of Irani?
I have not.
Irani is one of the unique ones that fruit at that time as well.
Nice.
And
Okay.
Laura Farms has them.
I gotta find one of those.
Okay.
I got all kinds of mangoes here. Got Carrie, Glen, Valencia Pride, Pickering, jackfruit, J31. I think it's Orange Crush, and Honey Gold. So Barbados cherry, papaya, some citrus, some soursop, some guava, starfruit. Trying to help people get their food forest going.
Very nice.
This is a dwarf Cavendish banana coming on. That, I believe, is either a Rajapuri or a Lakatan. I've got them all through here, and I got these from some friends. Honestly, if you want to build a food forest for free or cheap, make friends with people who are doing it and trade them. This avocado was here when we moved in, and I believe it's actually a Lula seedling. It was loaded with fruit, but a lot of the fruit is done now.
So it's a mid-season, maybe?
Yeah, it's a mid. But I'm thinking in the spring, I'd like to try grafting. So.
Nice.
Yep. It's got a bigger pit and less fruit. So. And here we're propagating Ifica, mulberry, jackfruit, katuk, all kinds of perennial vegetables. But this mango is really interesting. So we only moved here 3 years ago. This mango was an older tree that they tried to cut all the way down. They cut it flush to the ground. It came back and it's making fruit.
So have you tried it?
Yeah, it's good. I've actually got a really good friend, Sujatha from India, and she loves the fruit green. She makes chutneys and stuff. So I'm actually allergic to mango, sadly. So we've been trading mango for banana plants.
So does this have a lot of fiber in it or not? Or
Not
fibrous?
really,
You're not
not
sure?
really
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Very nice. Do you trim this tree at all?
I have not trimmed it much. A little bit, but not much.
Who tried to cut it, you said?
Well, the previous owners. Yeah.
Okay, and it keeps going back.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. This is amazing. Okay.
Yeah, back here is all kinds of. I've actually got a Rollinia that I'm going to plant for
Oh,
myself.
nice.
A tall sapodilla. It's a Hassia. I'm going to plant myself. Some jackfruit. All kinds of fun stuff. A lot of it's for customers, but some of it's for me.
And how do you water this stuff here?
We actually water by hand. I've got to figure out irrigation, but we don't have it figured out yet.
So how often do you come back and water it?
Every day.
Every day. Okay.
Every day. Yeah.
When they're in pots, you got to do that.
Totally. Totally.
So what
I've got some big avocados.
What's this here?
This is starfruit.
Starfruit.
And this is actually a Huang Tung, which is a really sweet variety. You can see the fruit hanging on. And then in the back.
This is a June plum? Not a June plum, a hog plum.
This is a tamarind.
Tamarind, yes.
Absolutely,
okay.
yep. So I do have some hog plum. In the back are some figs, some bananas, some avocados. I've got a day, a Catalina, Marcus pumpkin, and Donnie. And then this is a big Glen mango, 65 gallon.
Oh, wow. Did you buy it now or did you just keep growing it?
No, bought it in that. I'll do it once. I won't do it again. Moving this thing, you need a tractor to move it.
So show us here now. What was these?
I've got day, Catalina.
Where's your day?
Marcus
your
pumpkin.
Catalina? Those are great two mid-season avocados.
Yeah.
Catalina and day.
Yeah. Yeah, the day is in the back. The Catalina is right here in the front.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Different mangoes. Again, a lot of this is for customers, but some of it's for me. Back here are some red jaboticabas. Yeah. This is an ooh la la. And then some red jaboticabas in a 15. So it's fun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Are we going out this
I'll show you one more part of the yard.
Okay.
And this is what not to do. And actually, first, let's look at a banana circle.
Okay.
So I initially was a big proponent of banana circles, which is digging a pit, throwing mulch in it, manure. I realized, though, as they grow, that the mats start to run into each other. I was with Josh Jameson in Central Florida, saw how he was doing it, and decided I've got to give these bananas more space. So I'm now going to start planting them about 7 to 8 feet apart so the mats really can grow.
Now, for the viewers, what do you mean by the mats?
Oh, the mat is the corm. There's a root in the ground, and as the bananas continue to expand, that mat or corm is going to expand. So if you've got them real close together, they're going to start running into each other. We have the space. I'm going to give them a little more space.
When they run into each other, what's the problem with that?
Well, they have to continue to expand, right? Each banana plant, as it produces, is going to die, and you've got to send out more pups. And so you really do want them to have room to grow.
Yes. You have a few trees here. Are these just windbreakers or are these edible?
Yeah, no, these are fishtail palms, which are edible to pigs, but not to people.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you want a manicured food forest, YouTube has a lot of great ideas, and it's got some ideas that are not so good. A lot of folks on YouTube will say, hey, you want to start a food forest? Just put down cardboard and mulch. That'll kill the grass. No, sorry, Bob. We put down cardboard and 6 inches of mulch about 1.5 years ago. It looked really good for the first maybe 6 months, but it's a pretty weedy mess right now. Gratefully, my pigs love this plant, Ricardia, so I'm not too worried about it. But for people who want a more manicured space, remove the grass.
So do you just set the pigs free here and they eat it all up?
I actually right now have been carrying it to the pigs. The pigs are pretty little. They could escape through my fences. When they're bigger, we'll let them out. This is a Kerry star fruit. It's been in the ground for maybe 1 year. This is a Dombea, which is tropical hydrangea.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be beautiful once it flowers.
Are they edible flowers?
They are not edible.
Okay.
This is a choquette avocado.
Oh, yes. What's behind that? Pigeon pea?
Behind it is, pigeon pea, cranberry hibiscus.
Oh, right there. That's choquette. What's that big one right there?
Oh, pigeon pea. Pigeon pea,
okay.
for sure. Back here is a Illinois everbearing, I think, mulberry. Back here is a hog plum red mombin. I got a cutting from a friend. They're so easy to start from cuttings. Definitely do that. A little red lady papaya. Again, more cranberry hibiscus. And then I'll show you one tree from leaf. This is an Alano sapodilla. It's been in the ground for about a year. And then we've got a very sad looking persimmon, but I'm really hopeful it's gonna make it. It got really tall in a pot, so I'm not sure that it was really happy. But we put it in the ground, it lost its leaves, they've come back, so.
No, they will lose it in the winter anyway.
I'm hopeful it's gonna make it.
What kind of persimmon? Triumph?
Actually, I think it's, not sure.
Okay. All right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for showing us. Tell everybody your website.
Yeah, foodforestdiy.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram.
Under the same name on Facebook and Instagram?
Yep, Food Forest DIY. We do food forest tours. I do educational talks at like the library and Hippocrates and different events. So follow us for more events. We're actually doing a craft fair on Sunday out here in Jupiter Farms. It's called the Jupiter Farms Christmas Craft Fair and Growers Market. So fun stuff.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for showing us around.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Put your comments or questions below. Again, Jen's contact information is below the video on her website. This is an amazing place, and I love the yard, how clean it was, but also at the same time, how dense it was with food forest stuff. Like she said, you can do this many different ways, but I like this style a lot. So thank you very much for having us, and everybody, thank you for watching. Subscribe and like. Until then, everybody, we'll be back with another video soon, and keep growing.